Hey everyone, welcome to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name's Alicia. I'm a craft producer here with Maker's Gonna Learn, and today we are going to talk about the Cricut font hack that you may not know about yet. If you've saw one of our lives, we did this within a live and everybody went crazy, and we thought let's put a tutorial together so you all can utilize this design concept in your own designs. So this is what everybody was loving. So what we've done here is put a font in, made an offset, sliced it out, and we came up with this beautiful design. So I'm going to show you all exactly how to do this step by step. It's super easy. Let's get into it. Okay, now that we are on the computer, I have Design Space pulled up and I have got our Maker's Gonna Learn website pulled up right behind it. I am in our font section. So if you are new around here, we are a membership-based crafting community and we offer thousands of cut files, hundreds of fonts, new releases every single month. And we have so many options here that we're gonna have to choose from. So I'm just gonna kind of scroll down. Now we could totally use like just the basic scripty font. We could use something like this. You're not gonna wanna do it for every single font. You're gonna wanna select a font that is consistent all the way through. So this font hack isn't necessarily gonna work for something like Aztec or Autobahn, but it would work better for something like Brock the Jock. Let's try this one. We could totally do it with this font. So I'm going to go ahead, download the font. It's going to go into a zip folder. Double click that to unlock the folder. And then we're going to select this font and install. So from here, we're going to go back to Design Space. And if you don't already have a font downloaded, when you initially download it, you're going to need to hit View, Reload. And then we're going to go ahead and open up a text box. So let's just spell out the word Halloween. And then what we're going to do is change the font. So go up here to our fonts. You can go ahead and type in Brock the Jock if you want to. Now, with the Cricut update, there's not going to be anything come up over here on the left side. So you're going to have to select System. And it's going to be right here. So this first one is what we're looking for. And I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger for you all. And then what we're going to do is add an offset. So right up here, you can see there's a drop down. We're going to select offset. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. 0.25 is a little bit big. So let's try 0.1. I think that's good. And then we're going to go ahead and select apply. And then what we're going to do, so this is now 2 layers. So what we're going to do is select both layers. I'm just clicking and dragging. And down here on the bottom right, you'll see a slice option. So I'm going to go ahead and select slice. And then you can pull this down. We don't need that. And then you can pull this down. And this is what you have left. And that's it. I'm going to show you all the same process with a script font, just so you can see it both ways. It's the same exact process. So we'll go back to our fonts on the Maker's Gonna Learn website, and let's go to our script option. I'm gonna slide down here. Let's use Addie Kate for this. Go ahead, download your font and pull it into Design Space. We're going to open up another text box, and I'm just going to write out the word lovely. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to go ahead and change my font to Addie Kate. Shrink this down just a little bit. Okay, we're going to add an offset. And you can make it really as big or as small as you want. 0.1 is working for me, so I'm just going to keep it here. I'm going to select apply, and then we're going to click and drag to make sure both layers are selected. And I can even change the offset layer so you all can see it a little bit better. So you can see that back layer is in red, the top layer is in the dark gray. And then when you select them both and slice them, you're going to be able to see that this middle section pulls out perfectly and it looks so clean. So this is just something that you can add to your crafts or your designs, just to add a little extra element of something. People may be like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? And it looks so pretty. I'll show you all the water bottle again so you can just get a good view of it. So you can see how this sort of elevates your design rather than just putting autumn on there just plain. This is just a little bit more elevated. So we like to do that around here. We like to show you all how you can elevate your crafts and your designs in super quick and easy ways just to make your projects look so much better. I hope you all learned something new today with this quick font hack that we came up with. We love how this looks on our projects, and we would love to see what you all come up with. If you are new here and you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button and hit the little bell so you're notified every time that we post new craft videos. We will see you all in the next one. Bye.
Hey everyone, Tanner Bell here, and welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm gonna give you the 2021 Knockout Text Update video that I know so many of you all have been waiting for, and I'm super excited to share it in today's video. If you're brand new to the Maker's Gonna Learn channel, I do not want you to forget that you need to give us a thumbs up down below, subscribe to the channel so you never miss an upload or a live stream, as well as check out our membership site linked down below. That's where you get access to all the fonts we're using today, thousands of cut files, a member-only community that is unmatched, and so much more. I cannot wait to see you inside of the community. But if you're super excited to see and make today's project, let's go ahead and take a look at the supplies needed. Supplies today is very minimum. You're gonna need a Cricut. You'll also need design space on a laptop or desktop. It is very important to do this process on a laptop or desktop, so remember that. Lastly, we've got a piece of wood, we have some Cricut transfer tape, and we have a piece of white vinyl. So material today is very slim, which is great for anyone that wants to use this and do this for all types of projects. It is very versatile, and I've seen this on a lot of glass decor, wood decor, a lot of great opportunity to make some great projects using the knockout method. So let's go ahead and take a look at Cricut Design Space. When we open Cricut Design Space, you can see that we already have part of our project already set up. So today I'm going to walk you through being able to set up your design and walk it through till completion. So you're going to have a start to finish project today, which is fantastic. Now this knockout method is primarily used when using a couple's name with their first and then their last name. So that's what we're going to do today because it seems to be the most popular, and I think this will help you a ton in designing projects. Now, if you're looking for something to sell, this is what I would consider something customized and personalized. So as you guys know, always charge a little bit more when thinking about doing something custom and personalized for your customer. Now today we're working with two fonts from Maker's Gonna Learn. And the Maker's Gonna Learn fonts today is Clearwater for our Nathan and Holly. And then for our Night, which is behind, we are using Gus. And there's a quick hack that we're going to use with the Gus font. But when you're looking at fonts, let's go ahead and zoom this in right here. I want you all to think about using a cursive and a very thick font for the background. The reason why is you still want to be able to read the background word, which is the last name for our example today, when you have Nathan and Holly on the top. So always think about a cursive, a thinner font, and then think about a thicker font for the back. And Maker's Gonna Learn has so many great fonts to choose from. There's literally hundreds that are exclusive to our community. So if you join today, you're good access to all of those. And let me share with you how awesome it is. So these are our cut files, so many categories, there's thousands, and then there's also so many fonts to choose from. So you can download these, you can browse. I think Ash Street would be a great one. There's a lot, American Story would be good. So there's so many you can mix and match if you're not looking to replicate this exact one. So jumping back over to Design Space, let me share with you how to build this start to finish. So right here, we're going to zoom in and you'll see that we have this space right here. I'm going to move this down just a hair. And now we're going to open a new text box. With our new text box, we are going to grab the Gus font. And see, it's already installed. So this is one of the Maker's Gonna Learn fonts. Once you install it on your device once, it's there forever. And now we're going to type in night. And we'll be able to make it a little bit larger. And notice that there are lines in between here. We do not want that. We actually want to be able to not see that. So what we need to do is go ahead and click weld. And once we've welded that, we can now contour the font. And all we need to do is come down here and select all of these inner pieces. Just like that. So now you see they're all gone, which is great. All right, so now we have our Gus font. We want to grab a second text box and we're going to use Clearwater's. So this is right here. We're going to select it and we're going to type out Nathan and Holly. Just like that. You can see we have that here. We're going to make it a little bit larger. And just like that, you'll see that you have your text good to go. Now you can ungroup this to letters, so they're all individual, and you can kern this a little bit more. So we can just kern this and move this around as we see fit. I love being able to manually go through and kern these letters. Okay, and once you're happy, you can select this and go ahead and select weld. All right, so now we've been able to group those together. And now what we're going to do is click offset, and we are going to create just a little bit smaller of an offset. It gives you a little preview. And right there looks good. So we're doing 0.139 and we're doing the curved corners, okay? So now we'll click apply. So there you can see we have our offset right there, which is going to be very helpful. Now we're going to save our top layer. So our top layer is going to go down here. This is our text. Now you want to hold on to it because it's good to go. Now we need to take the Nathan and Holly and bring it up right here. And you can size it down a little if needed, just so that each word can fit inside the night. So I wanted the end of Holly to fit right here at the edge of the T. So now that we have that there, we can move it around just a little bit more. And you want to make sure it's centered. And once you're good to go, you can select both layers and you're going to want to select slice. And just like that, you can delete these layers out. And as you can see, now your Nathan and Holly will fit perfectly right here. Ta-da! Look at that. So we're just making sure this fits perfectly. And yay, it fits. Now what you can do is if there's any extra pieces that you think does not look perfect, you can go ahead and contour those out as well. You can select the slice result and go to contour and just pick a few out. Like I do not want that little piece, and I may not want that little piece or that little piece. And then when you click X, as you can see, it's a lot easier to go through and now have it all ready to go and cut. So I cleaned it up just a little bit more, and I even added a rectangle the same size as our wood, so we knew exactly where it would fit when we put it on our wood. Now what I like to do just for mocking up is adding that square over here under shapes and adding it so I know exactly what size the wood is, so I can kind of have a mock-up in Design Space ready to go. So now that it's good to go, we have everything attached here. And the reason I did not weld is for some reason the inside pieces of the A's were all getting welded together, which is a Cricut glitch. Traditionally, my friends, I would ask you guys to weld all of this together and it would be a beautiful image. Today, we're just attaching, which will get us the same results as our text was already welded together, and so was our background text. So all of this will work out just fine using the attach feature, but no, typically I would like to weld it. So if I click weld here, you can see those inside pieces really go away right there. when it's supposed to look like this. So now we just go back to ungroup and you'll see it's still attached. So now that we're good to go, we can remove the background and we can remove any of these extra layers I had to kind of share with you guys how to make it. So now we have our Nathan and Holly, and we'll be able to click Make It. We're gonna cut on the mat. So we're measuring the mat length. I'm cutting on a vinyl setting, and now we're going to fast forward the actual cutting process, as it's super simple to cut this out. All right, my friends, it's cut out. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut all the excess vinyl away. And now we're going to weed our project very easily. If you guys have not watched any of our videos on using the Cricut before, that was a great tip I just did. I went with gravity. That's very important. And now to weed, I always like to sometimes burnish the project down first, just to make sure the vinyl is laying down properly. And then I like to weed the outer edges first. So I just grab a corner and start peeling back. Look at this. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So now what we're going to do is we're gonna get the inner pieces. All right, so we've been able to weed this. I like to do another double check to make sure I didn't miss anything. And then I like to go ahead and cut a piece of transfer tape to size. This is a little bit longer than 12 inches, so I'm gonna have to cut a little special piece right here. And today we are using just regular Cricut transfer tape. Use whatever transfer tape you would prefer. And if you're applying this on a glass surface or anything like that, guys, be sure to clean that material or that glass with rubbing alcohol or something very similar to that, just to make sure that you get all the residue off, okay? So we're using wood today. Sometimes I actually do clean wood as well. That can be found in some of our other videos. But definitely check out our channel for more videos on weeding, you know, anything like that. We have probably a video for it here at the Makers Gonna Learn channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, drop us a comment and let us know what you would like to see here next. I'm always looking for new videos that we can create for you guys. All right, so we've been able to transfer that. Now let's grab our piece of wood. So we have that here, and we're gonna just burnish the back. Just like this. Yay! And then we can go ahead and fill this back. All right, so now we can take this and apply it down on our wood. You wanna make sure it's lined up properly. And place it down, and then burnish again. And then you can peel this off. And look at how great the Cricut transfer tape works. Like, this is really great quality transfer tape. It helps me with all my projects. But I definitely use this and paper transfer tape about, I use this a little bit less than paper transfer tape just because of the cost, but still love it. And wow, look at how awesome this project turned out, my friends. This is such a great idea to do as a custom project. I just put this on a scrap piece of wood and it still looks awesome. They can put it up in their kitchen. I mean, this project costs less than $2 to create, and you could easily sell this for anywhere from $12 to probably $15, very easily, maybe even more if you added some other things to it possibly, and things like that. So this is super awesome. It was that easy, my friends, to be able to use the brand new knockout method of 2021. And the best part is, maybe this is your first knockout video. This process used to add like at least 4 or 5 additional steps. It was kind of crazy and how many other steps there were before the offset feature actually was released this year. So I love being able to do the knockout method now. It's a really easy thing to do. Utilize this for shirts. There's a lot of other things you could do with it. So definitely put your creativity to the test and you'll absolutely love making this project. If you love the fonts, want to learn more about our cut files and so much education on your Cricut machine, definitely check out the links down below for our membership site, Makers Gonna Learn. You can join the thousands of creatives and get ready to craft with us for so much fun. If you guys have any questions, be sure to let us know right down below. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more DIY videos, and we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye now.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Makers Gonna Learn channel. My name is Lauren and I'm a craft producer here at Makers Gonna Learn, and in today's video, we are gonna learn how to fill shapes with words. So what I want you to take away from this is going to be a very design space heavy video, and we're going to teach you how to set up a shape and then fill in that shape with a bunch of different words so that we can get a really cool effect. You can see here we have sublimated this on this pillow. However, there are so many different ways that you can use this technique. As you can see here, we have also made a little Christmas ornament where we have used inkjet transparency film as well as cardstock to make a super simple ornament or gift tag. So stick around, we're going to teach you exactly how to do all these things. But before we get started, let's go ahead and go overhead and talk about all the supplies that you're going to need to complete these 2 projects that you see here. Starting off with this adorable little inkjet transparency ornament, the things that you're going to need if you want to create this are obviously an inkjet printer. Our favorite is the Canon TS9500 series. That's the one that we have here in the office. We have used it for years. It is definitely our go-to. You are going to need inkjet transparency film. This will be linked down below. We have labeled it front and back because there is a way that you have to put it in the printer, but you can see it looks very similar to like Mylar film. However, it will go through your printer. So you want to make sure that you do have this. Once again, this is linked down below. We have some red and white baker's twine. I have this beautiful white glitter cardstock from Celebration Warehouse. I do have a well-loved strong grip mat. You can use a standard grip mat for this. This is just one that we had here in the studio. And then I'm using this Aleene's tacky glue. This is a precision tip tacky glue, and you will see here in a minute when it comes to like tacking this down, you literally cannot see where I have tacked it and where I haven't. So it does come in very, very handy for this project. Now, if you are wanting to sublimate, we're actually not going to sublimate today. Like I said, this is going to be a very design space heavy tutorial. However, if you do want to sublimate, I will link these pillow covers down below. If you have the capabilities and want to sublimate, you will need a pillow cover and then your sublimation printer and a heat press as well. Now that we've gone over the materials, let's go ahead and hop over into Design Space and teach you all how to fill in shapes with words. Now that we're here, you can see the finished product, but I'm going to scroll over here to the side and I'm going to teach you how to get to this point. So the first thing you want to do is you want to decide what shape you are wanting to create, whether that is a snowman or anything else. You need to have a general idea of what shape you want to fill in. So today we are doing a snowman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my basic shape and I'm going to grab 2 circles, or I'm going to grab a circle and then I'm going to duplicate it, okay? So we're going to start creating kind of like a silhouette of what we want to create. So if you wanted to do a snowman with 3 tiers, you can, 2 tiers, whatever. So we kind of have a general idea. Now, one thing I do highly suggest is if you are adding other cut files in, so I'm going to be adding his top hat, the scarf, and everything else, you need to do so now with your template so that you don't run into any issues when you are adding your extras later. So now that we're here on the website, we're going to search the cut files that we're going to be using. So the first one we're going to be doing is the Walking in a Winter Wonderland Snowman.
So I'm just gonna search walking in a winter. It should pop right up. And this is the snowman we're gonna use for the hat and the arms. So I'm just going to download that. And then for the scarf, the one that I'm going to be showing you how to manipulate is the snowman family file. So this one, we're gonna download that. We're going to unzip it. Now this is a PNG, but I'm going to show you how to manipulate it. Back in Design Space, we're gonna go to Uploads. We're gonna upload image. I'm gonna pop back over to my Finder, and I'm gonna drag and drop this PNG in here. And then I wanted a complex image. We're gonna go to Continue. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase everything that is not this scarf. So once we have all of these erased here around the scarf, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my eraser tool in here, pop it up really big, and just erase everybody else away from here. And just so you all know, you can do this with any PNG. You can really manipulate it if you want certain areas of the PNG to be a cut file. So now I can go to Preview Cut Image, and it's going to show me that it's just the scarf that it's going to cut. So now what I want to do is I'm going to hit Apply and Continue. I don't want this as a print and cut image. I want this as a cut image. So now I'm going to upload that. And here you can see we have the scarf separate from everything else. But before we move to our canvas, we are going to upload the Walking in a Winter Wonderland. So I'm going to bring my Finder back up. Pull this in as an SVG. Then we're going to upload. And now we have both of these files ready to put on our canvas. So I'm going to select them both and add them to Canvas. Once they are here, I'm going to separate my scarf and my Winter Wonderland, and I'm going to size my scarf down to where I want it. And here I notice I need to bring the snowman's head down just a bit, move the scarf over, and then here I'm going to go to Contour, and I'm actually just going to hit Hide All Contours because I find like that's the easiest, and with this one specifically, and then coming back and picking the ones that you want. So I want to leave the hat. I want that word gone. I want the berries and the leaves. And I also want the arms. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this over, size it accordingly. And the good part about this is from here, from this point, you can separate these two out. So if you wanted to, we could duplicate this, come back to contour, contour out the hat, so now we just have the arms separate. We can size those up and place them where they need to go. And if you do that, you need to make sure you come back and contour out the arms over here. And now you have your hat that you can size individually. Now, just because I want to manipulate this a little bit more, I'm going to duplicate this hat and I'm going to come back to contour. I know this is a lot, but trust me, it's in the details that make this project so much better. I'm going to contour out the hat, and then all we're left with are the berries and the leaves. We're going to duplicate that again. And now I'm going to contour out the leaves so that I can make the berries larger. And then here I'm going to contour out the berries. So I'm going to zoom in because these are very small. I'm going to size them up, change the color to red. I'm going to go ahead and change the scarf color to red as well. We're going to change the arms to brown. And now I'm going to select this hat, contour out the leaves and berries there, bring the berries closer in and move this, the leaves, change them to green and move them in a little closer as well. And this is what I mean by it is really truly in the details that make a project look like it's store-bought or not. So selecting all of this, I'm just going to move it over and get it to fit. So now we have our base of what the shape that we are going to be filling in with words. Okay? If you want to, you can change these both to white, both of your circles to white, so that you can get a better feel of what it's going to look like. So the hardest part that I found of this project was going through all of the fonts that we have on our Makers Gonna Learn website and finding the ones that I wanted to use, which I have done for you. So it shouldn't be very hard for you to recreate this exact project. So we are gonna be using 6 different fonts today. I'm gonna show you how to upload one of those fonts, but you can do a rinse and repeat process for the other 5 if you don't already have them downloaded on your computer. So we're gonna go over to our Makers Gonna Learn website. We are gonna go to the font section, and I'm just gonna type in the first font that I'm gonna be using today, which is gonna be Angelina. And here you can see it's a beautiful script font. So to download that, you're gonna click the arrow pointing down. You're gonna come over here, double click that, double click it again, install it onto your computer, and then you will go back to Design Space. Make sure you save your project. Always, always, always save your project. And then from there, you're gonna go to View and reload your canvas. That way that font is now installed in Cricut Design Space as well. So making sure that you save your project is the biggest thing, because now we are right back where we were. One other thing that I want to talk about with this project is it's very important when you are pairing your fonts that you have a mixture of basic fonts, a thick font, maybe 1 or 2 script fonts, but you want them to all be very legible, because you want to make sure you can see all of the different names that you are putting in your snowman. So like I said, Angelina is going to be the first font. So let's go over here to our fonts or text. We're going to go to our system fonts. We're going to type in Angelina. And this is the one that I use for the bottom that just says the Griffith family. So if you want to go ahead and type out the Griffith family or whatever family you're doing it for, you can. Now, if this is a font that you want to do with all of the different names, let me show you a trick for this part that will make designing this so much easier. So the next font that we're going to use is Century. And I highly suggest you doing this next step, whatever fonts you decide to choose. So this is Century. I felt like this was a very Christmas type font, and I just had to have it in this project. So once you have your next font, I highly suggest you typing out all of the different names that you are going to be using in your project. So for this one, we are going to be doing Alicia. Then I'm going to the next line, hitting enter. We're going to do Ruby. We're going to do Trey, Georgia, Margie, and Mike. Okay? So now you can see what all of these different names look like with this font. And I actually think that I want the M's to be just plain. So with this font, a capital M looks like this, a lowercase m looks like this. Now there may be an instance where you want it uppercase, but that's going to be a complete design preference. Once you have typed your names out, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, pull it over here to the side, and then I'm going to duplicate it, bring it over here, select everything in there, and then I'm going to change it to my second font. Now the second font that we're going to be using today is Duffy. Once again, I just felt like this was really Christmassy looking. These are two of the fancier fonts, I guess you could call it. The rest of them are gonna be, we're gonna have one more script font, and then the other two are gonna be pretty plain. So once again, we're going to duplicate this, bring it down here, select all the names. Our third font that we're gonna be using is Art Deco. And then all of our names get changed to Art Deco. We're gonna duplicate again, select them all. Our next font is going to be Baby Breath. Now this is the script font that we are gonna be doing here, and then we're gonna duplicate one more time, and I'm gonna bring it to this side. And this font, the last font we're gonna be using is Funky Disco. So we're just gonna type in Funky Disco. And those are the 5 main fonts that I'm going to be using in this design. Now what I highly suggest you doing after this, just to kind of streamline the process, is take each group. So we're gonna select this group. We're gonna go to Advanced. We're gonna ungroup that to lines. That way each name is all gonna be its own separate thing now. And we're going to just rinse and repeat. So Advanced, ungroup to lines, Advanced, ungroup to lines, Advanced, ungroup to lines, and then finally ungroup to lines. So now we have everyone's name already pre-typed out. So all you have to do is grab the name, duplicate it, and put it where you want it on your snowman. At this point, we are gonna start the assembling of filling this shape. So you wanna start out with making your bigger words. You wanna have everyone's name pretty large on the shape. So let's start out with the bottom and work our way up. So I want to start out, we'll start with Mike. And one thing is, not all fonts are gonna be the same. So here I'm gonna have to go back and capitalize that M. So I'm going to start with Mike. We'll bring Mike in here. I wanna make Mike not super large, but pretty big. And then, because I use this font, actually now one thing I did is I brought Mike in from over there, but we wanna make sure we keep it. So let's just duplicate that and bring it back over here so we have it here. Next, I want to do Margie in this Art Deco font. So I'm gonna duplicate that. We'll make it a little bit bigger, bring it in here, and then just kind of position them. And one thing you can do, there are some fonts that you can unlock and stretch a little bit, will work for this project, but not all fonts look good stretched. So we're just gonna make this one a little smaller. We'll make Margie just a tad bit smaller. And then next we'll have Alicia. I'm gonna duplicate this, bring it over. Now you do want some of your text going vertical as well. One thing you can do is come up here to rotate this 90 degrees, and then position somewhere where it would fit. So this is a little bit big, let's move it down. Next we're gonna do Trey. So I want to do Trey in this font. We're gonna duplicate. We'll bring Trey down here, put it right there. And then we need Ruby. We'll put Ruby up here. And then we also need Georgia. I also just realized that I typed out Georgie, but it's supposed to be Georgia, so I'm gonna go change all of this to where it says Georgia. And then I think I want to rotate Georgia, so I'm gonna type in 270 for this one. And then we're gonna put Georgia here. Now, at this point, it's all about filling in your space. One thing I do want you all to remember is you don't have to get it perfectly around your shape. As long as you have a general idea or have it close, that's really what matters the most. So you want to make them all different sizes, going different ways, up and down, vertical, horizontal, big, little, whatever. You are just going to go through, add in all of these different names, different ways. And once you are done designing, it should look very similar to this. What you need to do next is we are going to delete out all of these names because we no longer need them. And now you have your base of your project. Now, we were just using the circles as guides, so we no longer need those either. So we're gonna just delete out, make sure you're not anything else. You're gonna be coming to your circles on your layers panel, and we're gonna be deleting our circles out. Now what you're gonna wanna do is you're definitely gonna want to work through your layers panel right now because there are a lot of layers to this project, as you can see. What you're gonna do, the best way that I found to do is to hide all of your pieces of your snowman right now to kind of get it out of the way. And then we'll go ahead and hide his top hat and the berries and stuff. We don't wanna move them, we just wanna hide them. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna grab the Griffith family. I'm gonna move it up just a little bit. And without doing anything else, I'm gonna drag way far away because all of these names right now are individual and can be moved. So we're gonna over here, so we make sure we don't move anything, select all of this, come down here to combine and unite them together. So that's going to unite everything under one layer so it all is together. Now you can come back down here and unhide all of the little elements to your snowman. And now you can kind of move this around if you would like. Once you have done that, you are now going to select everything together. Okay, we're selecting it all. And we are going to come up here to offset, and we are going to add an offset. Now we're going to be adding 2 offsets. So the first one doesn't need to be super huge because we're going to add another offset, and that's going to be our white glitter layer for the ornament. So for this first offset, we're going to do 0.15 and see how that looks. And I'm actually going to bring it up to, let's do 1/8. It's still a little bit, I still want just a teeny bit more. So let's bring it up to 0.2, and I think that will be perfect. That one is a lot better. So we're gonna go ahead and apply, but you still see that we have, we'll change it to white. You still see we have some of these little guys inside. We're just gonna go to contour. We're gonna hide all contours. Actually, we're gonna leave that guy in there. We want that cut out, but I don't want those things cut out. We're gonna make sure all of these layers are selected, and we're gonna flatten those all together. So now it is just one flattened piece, okay? So this is what we are going to be printing on the inkjet transparency. Obviously 11 inches is a little big, so we're going to size this down to about 6 inches will be a good, a good size. And then before we send this to the printer, we do need to give it one more layer, one more offset, so that we can cut it out of our glitter cardstock. So we're gonna go back to offset one more time. 0.25 is gonna be way too big for this one, so we're just gonna pull it down, go with 0.15, we'll see how that is. I like 0.15, so we're gonna apply that. I want that little guy out of there, so we're going to change that from a print and cut to a basic cut function. Go to contour and contour out these little pieces in here. Beautiful. So now we have our outside, and then here we have what we're going to be printing out. From there, we're going to go to make it. Once you are here, make sure that your size of your paper is 8.5 by 11 because we are working with an 8.5 by 11 piece of transparency film. So we're going to hit continue. We're going to send this to our printer, turn bleed off, and always use system dialog. Like I said, our favorite inkjet printer is our Canon TS9500 series. So we're going to hit print. Our print dialog box is going to pull up behind design space. I'm going to be feeding this from the rear tray. I'm going to choose photo paper because it is a glossy paper, and we're going to print it on best quality. Once it is printed, you do want it to dry just a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and place it down on our mat. One thing that I do suggest is kind of touching the outside edges just to make sure that it is dry. And it is, and we're going to take our brayer and we're going to bray this down onto our mat. Once you have done that, we are going to go back to design space. I'm going to be cutting this on the Mylar setting today. And I'm going to use more pressure. So I'm going to change from default to more. And then we're going to load this into our Cricut. And then we're going to hit play. And now what it's going to do is our Cricut is going to register those registration marks so that it knows exactly where to cut. Once that is done, one thing that I highly suggest you doing is coming in here and making sure that it has clean cuts. Because if it does not cut through, you do not want to unload, which right now it looks like it could use, I think that I could get it off, but I also think that it could use another pass. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit the play button again, and what it's going to do is it's going to bring this back through the Cricut, and it's going to cut in the exact same spot one more time. Now I can see that I've got such a better cut on this, and it really is going to weed beautifully. So I'm just going to unload my mat, bring it over here, and take our transparency sheet off, and look how good that did. Now we're just going to unload it from our mat, always going with gravity for this. And now you have the first part of our little snowman ornament completed. Now I'm going to add our white glitter cardstock onto our mat. Bray it down really well. We're going to be setting our base material on glitter cardstock. And sending it to our machine. Once it's finished, we're going to unload this from the mat. Same thing as before, flipping our mat over and unloading it, going with gravity. We're going to set this to the side. And now you have your base for your beautiful ornament, gift tag, whatever you want to use it as. Now, one other thing that I highly suggest you doing before you glue, I would come in here. Now, if you want to have the Cricut cut a hole, you can. I found it easier just to use a hole punch. So we're just going to line these up here. And the reason I say do this before gluing, that way you don't have glue in between and you don't ruin this. So we're just gonna hold those both in place there and come in here and add a hole. Once you have added your hole, we're gonna flip this over. I'm just gonna grab my Aleene's tacky glue and I'm gonna add some, just a little bit, here at the top. Now, normally we would use the Zig two-way pen or even the ATG gun, but I have found that the Zig two-way pen does not at all like working. It doesn't like to work with glitter cardstock for some reason. So I've just added a little bit to the hat and the scarf where the color is. We're gonna line those holes up and just press down there. And then I'm just gonna come in and add a little dot here at this arm, not a lot. It does dry clear, so I really love that. We're gonna add just a little bit here at the bottom, just enough to tack it down. And then let that sit and dry. Once it has dried, you're gonna grab your baker's twine or whatever ribbon you want to use. We're gonna string it through this hole and then tie our little hanger on here. You can do it with a bow, you can do it with a knot, really whatever you prefer. Just make sure it's really good and tight. And then I'm just going to bring my scissors in here and trim off the excess. And there you go, your very own custom name ornament, gift tag, whatever, filling this shape with words. Was this not so much fun? Now, this is something that I truly absolutely enjoy doing. The designing portion of using my Cricut is my absolute favorite thing to do, figuring out ways that we can make something that we see that we really like. So I hope you all have learned something throughout this video. Now, if you wanted to create the same thing, but you wanted to sublimate, you can do it all in Design Space, and then once you go to print it, or print and cut, you just make sure that you change your paper size. For example, this one we printed on 8.5 by 11 so that we could get the bigger size. Go over to the taskbar, change your paper size on your print and cut image, and then send it to your sublimation printer. And we press this at 385 degrees for 60 seconds. Now, if you want to recreate this exact same project, but you do not have access to the files or the fonts that I use, let me invite you to the Maker's Gonna Learn membership. Within our membership, you get thousands of cut files and hundreds of fonts so that you can recreate everything that you see here on our channel. If you want to learn more about Maker's Gonna Learn, make sure you click that first link down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. I absolutely cannot wait to get crafty with you all this Christmas season, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Y'all, stop what you're doing because Cricut has released their warped text feature for Design Space. I mean, honestly, I didn't think that it would come this quick, but it is here. The only thing is it is currently in the beta version and not the live version, and you do have to be a Cricut Access user to use it, but in this video, we're going to tell you everything that we know so far, show you how it works, and if you'll stick around, I'm actually gonna show you how you can do this for free and not have Cricut Access because y'all, we've been doing this around here for quite some time. My name is Lauren, and I'm a craft producer here at Maker's Gonna Learn, and I can't wait to dive into this video to show you this new feature in Cricut Design Space and also show you how you can do it for free. So let's go ahead and hop on over into Design Space. So now that we're here, like I said, this is in the beta version of Cricut Design Space. Now, if you have not changed between live and beta version, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. If you're not sure, if you will look up here at the top, this clearly says beta. It should say if you are in beta or live version. However, you can also check that in your settings. So what you're going to do is you're going to come over to the three lines here on the left-hand side of your screen. You're going to click that and you are going to scroll down to where it says settings. You're going to click your settings and then this dialog box is going to pop up. Now you're going to be able to choose which application experience you want to have. Do you want beta or live version? For this, because it is not currently live, we are going to choose the beta version. You're going to click done, and then you're going to have to exit out of Design Space and pull it back up for it to be in the beta version. So just to briefly explain to you all what the beta version means, when people are creating new softwares, they will have different versions. So an alpha version is going to be their first version of a software that they may test in-house. The next version is going to be your beta version. So this is going to be close to perfect, but not quite perfect yet, but they want to get it out there to the public to see how the public reacts to this new feature or new things that they have in the program. And then they can go back, fix the bugs, and after those bugs have been fixed, they will send it to the live version of the software. So that's really the only difference between the live and the beta version. In beta, you may get certain updates a little faster, but all the bugs with those updates may not be worked out yet. So you may have to go back and forth between the beta and the live version. But like I said, I just showed you how to do that. It's super easy and something that you can do every day if you want to. So now that we are for sure in the beta version, let's hop back over to Design Space. We're going to enter in a text and I'm going to show you how this warped feature works. So we're going to hop over here to the left-hand panel and I'm going to grab a text. We're actually going to be using the text bell bottom, the font bell bottom. This is a Maker's Gonna Learn font. If you don't know who we are, Maker's Gonna Learn is a craft membership community where we bring you thousands of cut files, hundreds of fonts for you to use with your Cricut every month. Y'all, we have some really, really good fonts, and this retro font is definitely one of my favorites, and I think will work really well with this warp feature. So I'm going to type in what I want it to say. I'm going to blow this up so we really see how this warp feature works. So we're going to come up here to the top. You're going to find it right next to the offset button. So all you have to do, so I'm going to blow this up just a little bit so you all can see this better. Now the warp function can be found at your top toolbar up here right next to offset. And we're going to just click this arrow for the drop down menu. Now once again, like I said, this function is only for Cricut Access users right now. And I honestly have a feeling that it may stay just with Cricut Access users. So if you do have access, this is going to be a great function that you can use. However, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to teach you all how to do this for free. So don't worry if you don't have access, we will get there. So as you can see, there are 24 different warp functions that you can choose with this. So we're just going to start from the top and we'll work our way down. So with one, as you can see, it's going to curve it slightly. Now, in my opinion, this really doesn't do anything much different than the actual curve function. So that is one thing that, to keep in mind. These more basic ones, you can do. These more basic ones you can just do with a curve function. So let's look at this one. As you can see, this one makes the sides larger and the middle here is a lot skinnier. The one thing that I'm not a huge fan of about this function as of right now is because there is not a point of movement within anything. So it warps it, and that's really all you can do with it. You can't move. Let's go to 11, for example. So this is kind of like the flag warp. and it goes up and down. So if I were doing this on a different software, I would like to have a point of movement, say here in the middle somewhere, where I can make this crest or middle point move back toward the front, over to the end, make this side higher. So there are a lot of things that I think may be fixed when it comes to the live version. Once again, this is just the beta version, so it's just in kind of like its testing phase. So one drawback with this is if you wanted to do multiple colors on the different lines, you can't do that unless you type in the same word in 2 different text box. So if I go to change the color here, it's going to change both words. The way that you can do that and get by with this is, let's say we get rid of this bottom groovy, and then we are going to duplicate this one, and then we can change the color from there and then move it down and then align these and center them horizontally. The one thing that I will say is you have to be careful with what fonts you use with each effect, because some of them look really, really cool. Others, you know, not the greatest. It really depends. This one I thought would be really cool, kind of give you like that Star Wars opening monologue effect, but then when I go to do it, it's like I can't even read it. So I really, like I said, I wish there was a point of movement where I could take this top of this G and like move it out a little bit. But otherwise, you know, it's pretty cool. So now that you've stuck around, you've seen the new feature in the beta version of Cricut Design Space, which once again is going to be great for so many people. Let me teach you how you can do this for free if you don't have or don't want to get Cricut access. So we're actually going to go to a website called Photopea, however you want to say it, .com. So it's PHOTOPEA.com. What we are going to do is we are going to create a new project. Now, this looks kind of intimidating when it pulls up, but y'all just stay with me. I'm actually going to change my width to inches just because I like working with a 12 by 12, because that's what we work with within Cricut Design Space is 12 by 12. So I'm doing a 12 by 12 project. Background color, you can choose your background color from there, and we're just going to select create. Okay, so this is going to be like representation of your Cricut mat. Now we're going to come over here to the left hand side of our toolbar, and we're going to select the text tool. Now you can still use Maker's Gonna Learn fonts here in Photopea.com. What you're going to do, you are going to load font here on your font menu. You're going to hit the drop down load font. It's going to pull up all of your fonts here. We're going to search bell bottom because that's the one that we worked with. We are going to choose it. Now this, I have downloaded this from Maker's Gonna Learn, so it is in my computer. I'm going to open that. Okay. And now it is loaded onto the website. So now to find it, all I have to do is type in bell bottom, and here it is. We're going to click on our blank that we're working with. I'm going to size this up so that you all can see this better. We'll move it down. And just because we worked with Groovy a while ago, we're just going to type in Groovy again. So now that you have that, you can change the color here. You can put in your RGBs. You can put in a hex code down here. You can work with it. You can really do a nice custom color. So many ways you can choose your colors. You can choose from standard colors down here. But I do love working with a color picker similar to this. So we're just going to go there, hit OK. Change this back to the color we want. And now what you're going to do is you're going to go to the warp button here at the top. So now we're going to select warp. You're going to style here says none. We're going to select the style that we want, and you can scroll down here and see all of the different styles that they offer. Now, it's not 24 like we have in Cricut Design Space, but really and truly, some of these are better in my opinion. So for example, the wave is going to keep the bottom line straight and wave this up. And what I love about this website is you can change where your bend is. So if I wanted the bend on the left side, I would come down, or on the right side, I would go this way. You can choose your horizontal distortion, whether it goes up, goes down, or stays right in the middle. And then you can also choose your vertical distortion, whether it goes out or comes in. So this is something that this function works so well when you are really creating custom pieces. You can really manipulate which way your word goes and piece different words together. So the other one that I really love to use is the flag. This one is really popular right now. And once again, you can choose how much or how little bend you have in your word and which way you want your word to bend. You're going to click OK, and that's going to stay there. Now you can move this around. It really doesn't matter, but you can move your words around, create here. I've not really used Photopea for anything other than warping my text because I really love that function. Once you have created the text and placed it where you want it, what you're going to do, come up here to the top left-hand corner, you're going to select File. You're going to scroll down to Export As. Now, there are two different options here, or actually there's multiple options, but two that we really work with a lot within Cricut Design Space. So you can either export this as a PNG, or if you want it to be a cut image, you can export this as an SVG. And that's what we're going to do today, and then I'm going to show you how to upload this into Cricut Design Space. So we're going to click Export as SVG. You're going to want to make sure that you have the vectorize text button clicked. Otherwise, it's just going to show you a straight line. So we're going to vectorize this text, and then we are going to save it. Now it's going to come down here into your downloads. Now we're going to go back to Cricut Design Space. We'll delete these two out, and we're going to go to Upload, Upload Image, Browse. I'm going to my downloads because that's where it downloaded, was in my download folder. Click that, open it. We are doing this as a cut image, upload, and add it to our canvas. And y'all, now you have your custom warped text absolutely free. So, what are your thoughts? I would love to hear your thoughts on the new warped text feature within Cricut Design Space. Drop those in the comments. Let us know what you think. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's a great update for Cricut Design Space. I really think they are moving in the right direction. However, having it for access members only, I don't know. I mean, I did show you how you can do it for free, so technically, do you have to be an access member? That's going to be your choice. I'm so glad that I was able to bring this update to you guys and once again show you how to do the warped text for free. As always, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell notification so that you can be notified every time we get crafty.